Hello everyone and welcome to Samantha Whispers. So today's video is a very special video. So it's a role play video, which I figured would be very appropriate for this time of year, being Halloween. So I'm really excited to present to you this role play video. I've had this idea of being Belle in an ASMR video for quite a while now, but this video would not be possible without the help of my good friend Lauren. So I found Lauren through Twitter actually, and she actually helps write stories for YouTube videos, but she specializes mostly in ASMR videos. For me, it can be really hard to completely start out with a blank slate. In order for me to be creative, not always, but a lot of the time, for me, it's really helpful if I have some sort of, how I say, I'm really bad at sort of just starting with a blank slate with anything creative, whether it's with a project or with decorating, things like that. I feel like I need some sort of border, if that makes sense. I need some limitations in order to be creative. So, I have this idea, but it definitely was kind of tricky for me to sort of put it in a true script or narrative. And that's where Lauren came in and was super helpful with that. She's very responsive, very communicative, just really helpful throughout the entire process. She can do a full-on script, or she can kind of just help you come up with ideas, share ideas, and just do sort of bullet points. With me, it can be really hard to memorize lines sometimes. So this video is sort of a mix of both, where it's got a script, but also I've incorporated some improvisation and some of my own ideas in the video as well. I highly recommend Lauren if whether you're an ASMR creator or any kind of creator where you need help with writing a story or kind of putting your idea of a story to paper. She is super duper helpful with that, and she works with creators of all different sizes, all sizes and shapes. She works with creators as small as myself, but she can work with creators who, have millions of followers. She's got a sliding scale in terms of her payment, which is super, super helpful. So if you need that kind of assistance, any kind of writing, scripting, narrative assistance, I definitely will leave her information down in the description box below. So I highly recommend her if you need help with that. But let's get on to meeting Belle. Well, hello there. I didn't know you were expecting a guest. It's not often we get visitors. If you have a horse, we can find a place in the stable. I'm sure Philippe would like a new friend. Oh goodness, you came all this way here on foot? Well, all right then. Would you like to come in and sit down? It must be cold out there. That way we can sit by the fire and get some warmth. Sure, there. Well, by the look of things, it looks like you got lost in the woods. I know it can be frightening out there. I'm glad you're all right. That's how I first found my way to the castle. You see, my father is a great inventor and he was making his way... Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to ask if you'd like something to drink. How about some nice warm tea? That should help. I'll see if Mrs. Potts is still awake. We're in luck. Do you take milk or sugar? Of course. Some of the kitchen staff think I'm odd for liking sugar in my tea. I guess I've gotten used to being called odd. Maybe someday it'll seem ordinary for a woman to have ideas. I'd like to share everything I've learned. I've read so much while I've been here at the castle. I would offer to get you a book while you're warming up, but I think everything we have here is in French. Do you speak French? Would you like to learn some French words? Oh, wonderful. Well, first, let's start out with a greeting. When we say hello or sometimes good morning, we say bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Can you say bonjour? Very good, very good. Can you say that again? Good job, very, very good. Oh, I completely forgot to introduce myself. My name is Belle. How you would say that in French is Je m'appelle Belle. Can you say Je m'appelle? Very good, very good. Can you say Je m'appelle again? Very good, good job. Je m'appelle Belle. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, another greeting that I like to say sometimes, this is a little bit more of a casual greeting, and it's salut. Salut. It's very similar to how you all in English say hi. It's our casual version of greeting someone. The majority of the time we say bonjour, but salut is just a nice casual way of saying hello to someone. Can you say salut? Very good. Very, very good. Can you say that again? Very good. Good job. Salut, salut. Now, I know we are just meeting each other, but at some point we do have to say goodbye to each other. And how you would say goodbye in French is au revoir. Au revoir. Can you say au revoir? Very good, very good. You're doing great so far. Can you say that again? Very good, very good. Au revoir. This is Mrs. Potts. Now, she is not a person, but what she is a teapot. How we say teapot in French is tière. Tière. Can you say tière? Very good, very good. Can you say that again? Bravo, very good. Well done. You're doing very good at learning these French words, aren't you? Well, I'm not done. I've got a few more French words to teach you. Now, what is the name of the building we are in? Yes, it's a castle. Now, how you say castle in French is château. Château. Can you say château? Wonderful, very good. Can you say that again? Very good, very good. Château, château. Now, my favorite room in the château is the library. I absolutely love reading books. It is my favorite thing to do. Now, library in French is bibliothèque. Can you say bibliothèque? Very good, very good. That's a longer word for sure. Can you say bibliothèque again? Wonderful, wonderful. Good job. Bibliothèque, bibliothèque. How I love the bibliothèque. Now, what do you find in the bibliothèque? Yes, books, books, books galore. Here, wait just a moment. Let me grab one of my favorites. All right, I've got one of my favorite books here. It's definitely very hard to choose, but I love this one. It's got so many amazing fairy tales and stories in here. I love hardcover books. I love how they sound, don't you? I know, it sounds amazing, doesn't it? Well, book in French is livre. Livre. Can you say livre? Very good. Very good. Can you say that again? Very good. Very good. Oh, how I love livre. Now, the last word I will teach you in French for the night, and it's very appropriate, and that word is good night. Good night. And good night in French is bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Can you say bonne nuit? Very good, very good. Can you say bonne nuit again? Very good, very good. Bonne nuit indeed. You've done a wonderful job. Thanks for letting me share some words with you. I'm going to ask that a room be set up for you. In the morning, you can join the Beast and I for breakfast. He's been working on his table manners, and I'm sure he'd be excited to show you how well he's been doing. Some people do need a moment to get used to him. I know at first he seems intimidating, but beneath that fur, he is a kind and gentle soul. There's so much more to someone other than what we think about their appearance. And he's learned that he can't make friends by forcing people to stay. With that in mind, would it be all right if I had a room prepared? Oh, wonderful. Cogsworth, would you mind seeing that our guest has a place to stay for the night? Let's stick to the East Wing specifically. No, we wouldn't want that. Thank you. All right, well, I need to get ready for bed. In a moment, Cogsworth will be back to show you to your room, and then I would be happy to read you a bedtime story to help you sleep. The Beast loves bedtime stories. Do you like stories? Oh, wonderful. I think I know just the one. I'll go get the book and I'll meet you in your room. There now. Are you comfortable? I'm so glad. Well, it was really hard for me to choose just one story, so I did bring a few different options. I love books so much. So this first book I have here, it's actually a bunch of different stories. It's by Hans Christian Andersen. He's actually Danish. He wrote so many great, amazing fairy tales. I mean, just look how thick this book is. Such a lovely hardcover book. The next one I have here also has a couple in one. It's Alice in Wonderland, or Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. Look at this. Look at that binding, the lovely hardcovers. I just love the feeling of books and pages turning. I just love it so much. And then the last book I have here, it's one that I showed earlier. It's also another book of fairy tales, and it's by the Grimm brothers. So it also has a bunch of fairy tales in it here as well. I know the book looks thin, but there's a lot of great stories in here as well. Oh, this page turns. It also has some pretty artwork in here as well. I know it's hard to see, but it's got some really beautiful artwork in here. So I think I'm gonna go with one of the Grimm fairy tales. So let's see what's in here. You've probably heard of a lot of them. We've got the Frog Prince. We have Hansel and Gretel, or Hansel and Gretel, as some people like to call it. We have Tom Thumb. We have the Sleeping Beauty, or Briar Rose, Snow White, Rumpelstiltskin. So many amazing choices. But I think tonight we will read Rapunzel. Rapunzel is all about a girl in a tower and how a prince comes and saves her from the tower by her long hair. So let's go ahead and begin. There once lived a man and his wife who had long wished for a child, but in vain. Now there was at the back of their house a little window which overlooked a beautiful garden full of the finest vegetables and flowers. But there was a high wall all around it, and no one ventured into it, for it belonged to a witch of great might, and of whom all the world was afraid. One day that the wife was standing at the window and looking into the garden, she saw a bed filled with the finest rampion, and it looked so fresh and green that she began to wish for some, and at length she longed for it greatly. This went on for days, and as she knew she could not get the rampion, she pined away and grew pale and miserable. Then the man was uneasy and asked, "What is the matter, dear wife?" "Oh," answered she, "I shall die unless I can have some of that rampion to eat that grows in the garden at the back of our house." The man, who loved her very much, thought to himself, "Rather than lose my wife, I will get some rampion, cost what it will." So in the twilight he climbed over the wall into the witch's garden, plucked hastily a handful of rampion, and brought it to his wife. She made a salad of it at once, and ate of it to her heart's content. But she liked it so much, and it tasted so good, that the next day she longed for it, thrice as much as she had done before. And if she was to have any rest, the man must climb over the wall once more. So he went into the twilight again, and as he was climbing back, he saw all at once the witch standing before him, and was terribly frightened, as she cried with angry eyes, "How dare you climb over into my garden like a thief, and steal my rampion? It shall be the worse for you." "Oh," answered he, "be merciful rather than just. I have only done it through necessity, for my wife saw your rampion out of the window, and became possessed with so great a longing that she would have died if she could not have had some to eat." Then the witch said, "If it is all as you say, you may have as much rampion as you like, on one condition. The child that will come into the world must be given to me. It shall go well with the child, and I will care for it like a mother." In his distress of mind, the man promised everything, and when the time came when the child was born, the witch appeared, and giving the child the name of Rapunzel, which is the same as rampion, she took it away with her. Rapunzel was the most beautiful child in the world. When she was 12 years old, the witch shut her up in a tower in the midst of a wood, and had neither steps nor door, only a small window above. When the witch wished to be let in, she would stand below and would cry, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel had beautiful long hair that shone like gold. When she heard the voice of the witch, she would undo the fastening of the upper window, unbind the plaits of her hair, and let it down 20 ells below, and the witch would climb up by it. After they had lived thus a few years, it happened that as the king's son was riding through the wood, he came to the tower, and he drew near. He heard a voice singing so sweetly that he stood still and listened. It was Rapunzel in her loneliness, trying to pass away the time with sweet songs. The king's son wished to go in to her and sought to find a door in the tower, but there was none. So he rode home, but the song had entered into his heart, and every day he went into the wood and listened to it. Once, as he was standing there under a tree, he saw the witch come up and listened while she called out, "Oh, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Then he saw how Rapunzel let down her long tresses, and how the witch climbed up by it and went into her, and he said to himself, "Since that is the ladder, I will climb it and seek my fortune." And the next day, as soon as it began to grow dusk, he went to the tower and cried, "Oh, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And she let down her hair, and the king's son climbed up by it. Rapunzel was greatly terrified when she saw that a man had come into her, for she had never seen one before. But the king's son began speaking so kindly to her, and told how her singing had entered into his heart, so that he could have no peace until he had seen her herself. Then Rapunzel forgot her terror, and when he asked her to take him for her husband, and she saw that he was young and beautiful, she thought to herself, "I certainly like him much better than old Mother Gothel," and she put her hand into his hand, and saying, "I would willingly go with thee, but I do not know how I shall get out. When thou comest, bring each time a silken rope, and I will make a ladder. And when it is quite ready, I will get down by it out of the tower, and thou shalt take me away on thy horse." They agreed that he should come to her every evening as the old woman came in the daytime. So the witch knew nothing of all this until once Rapunzel said to her unwittingly, "Mother Gothel, how is it that you climb up here so slowly, and the king's son is with me in a moment?" "Oh, wicked child," cried the witch, "what is this I hear? I thought I had hidden thee from all the world, and thou hast betrayed me." In her anger, she seized Rapunzel by her beautiful hair, struck her several times with her left hand, and then grasping a pair of shears in her right, snip, snap, the beautiful locks lay on the ground. And she was so hard-hearted that she took Rapunzel and put her in a waste and desert place where she lived in great woe and misery. The same day on which she took Rapunzel away, she went back to the tower in the evening and made fast the severed locks of hair to the window hasp, and the king's son came and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Then she let the hair down, and the king's son climbed up, but instead of his dearest Rapunzel, he found the witch looking at him with wicked, glittering eyes. "Aha!" cried she, mocking him. "You came for your darling, but the sweet bird sits no longer in the nest and sings no more. The cat has got her, and will scratch out your eyes as well. Rapunzel is lost to you. You will see her no more." The king's son was beside himself with grief, and in his agony he sprang from the tower. He escaped with life, but the thorns on which he fell put out his eyes. Then he wandered blind through the wood, eating nothing but roots and berries, and doing nothing but lament and weep for the loss of his dearest wife. So he wandered several years in misery, until at last he came to the desert place where Rapunzel lived with her twin children that she had borne, a boy and a girl. At first he heard a voice that he thought he knew, and when he reached the place from which it seemed to come, Rapunzel knew him, and fell on his neck and wept. And when her tears touched his eyes, they became clear again, and he could see with them as well as ever. Then he took her to his kingdom, where he was received with great joy, and there they lived long and happily. I love that story. Well, I'll leave you to sleep. You must be very tired after all you've been through. I will stop by your room to let you know when it's time to get ready for breakfast. Sleep well, new friend. I will see you in the morning.